The channel and the videos and the drama saga season 3. Today, Pink Shirt Saturday. Anyway, got a question. So far, I made about 7 videos, or 8 maybe, talking about how these 2 individuals came in and started like recording and filming the Whittakers. And they made a bunch of money. There was a lot of donations. Now there's a state investigation. And it's been crickets, except for a couple little videos here and there. And then there's a lot of creators out here that's stealing content from me and reposting it on their page and getting paid for it. And you guys are coming at me sideways saying that I'm doing all this exploitation. And then I go film them. BJ's on the porch. Oh, can't believe you're such a bad guy for showing BJ on the porch. I wasn't trying to put BJ front and center. I was just showing the family. They were there. They wanted to make a message, put it to the world. Hey guys, we want our family back. We're not just forgetting about them and leaving them alone. That's basically what they wanted to say, although it didn't really exactly happen that way. And then I took them some groceries, got them some firewood, and now you guys are saying that I'm wrong for showing footage of Eric trying to bust up the family and him getting someone to come vouch for him that he wasn't trying to bust up the family when he was trying to bust up the family, clearly. Here we are. Here's your update. This is your Saturday full update. You ready for this? As of right now, BJ being on that property is changing absolutely nothing as far as them coming home. As of right now, that house being clean or dirty is changing absolutely nothing of them coming home. As of right now, whatever video footage that I load is changing nothing of them coming home. What has to happen at this point right now is they need a civil litigation attorney. And that attorney needs to work with Patrick and Eric's attorney. They need to iron out the money. They need to decide who breached a contract, because I personally think that Eric breached a contract whenever he said, I'm not building you a house, and I'm walking off, and I'm taking the money, and I'm going back to Georgia, and you guys can figure it out because BJ's in her camper after we did everything we could to get BJ out of her camper. So that sounds to me like that was the breach of the contract. But you said they breached the contract by allowing me to come down there and film them putting a message out to the world as to where they're at right now. Basically, you're saying that, they competed with a creator. Well, when you're not creating with them, how are they competing with a creator? When you walk off the porch and tell them you're taking the money that you've raised so far to build them a home, and you're leaving because they didn't facilitate some court things to make sure that BJ wasn't on the property, I'm like, where did the contract really get breached? And what's up with all this, after expenses and after costs incurred, we're going to disperse the money, but we haven't saw a receipt yet as to how much money there is. Who knows? We've heard 200,000, 300,000, 80,000, 90,000, 150,000. Show some receipts. You're expecting Betty and Larry to not have an attorney and to not have enough sense to involve people professionally to call you on your bullshit. But they're going to do that. They're going to make sure that they call you on your bullshit. They're going to say, hey, I'm not cashing this check. You know why? Because I don't know if this is exactly what's owed to me or not. They're not going to do it like that. They're going to say, we want to see that you made a total, since you came into the scene from day one, when you and Patrick started hanging out, very first day, they're going to say, what's the total income right now? It's this number. Okay, cool. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. However you guys bust that down, then you got to think about this. all those times that you said you reimbursed yourself for taking them to bowling, taking them to dinner, taking them on trips, doing this and doing that, like the other guy said in the video, how come they have to pay out of their pocket for your content creation? Content creators should pay for their own content, and then whenever they make the money, it's not always about reimbursement, right? Whenever they make the money, they make a little bit smaller percentage. They're just sitting there. They're the talent, right? They're the star of the show. But you're charging the star of the show, and you're saying the star of the show breached a contract by them having a voice and putting their message out to the world when you walked away. So when you walk away and there's no more camera on the porch, I think that's the breach of contract. You guys let me know what you think. I'm sure you will. I'm sure the 500 of you guys that always comment the same thing in every one of my videos will come in here and say, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Guess what? I don't care. I really don't care. Because that comment, it doesn't hurt me. You make your comment, sometimes I read it, sometimes I don't. But here's the thing. If you really use your brain, what's left of it after we've been clouded for the last 20 years in this country, if you really use your brain, it sounds to me like we need to start over. And we need a fresh, clean slate. And we need to let the Whittakers start telling us what they want to do. And that's what I've allowed them to do. I've not one time told them what they have to do or what they need to do, like this lady in North Carolina or this guy from Minnesota or this guy from Georgia. Not one time have I ever told them you have to or need to or should do or blah, blah, blah. I said, I always ask them, what do you want? What do you want, Betty? What do you want, Larry? And you know what they say? They say they want what's owed to them for the content that they've allowed you to create. They want a vehicle to drive. They want a clean home to sleep in, new, updated, clean home. They want some groceries, and they want their family back. They want their family back together because they miss them. Because before any of this started, before any creator shoved a phone or a camera in their face, they had their family. And that's what's most important. Now, I will tell you this, just so you guys know, a lot of you say, leave them alone, stop shoving a camera in their face, blah, blah, blah. But ever since Mark went down there, they're totally okay with it. They invited me, and they said, we want you to make a video for us. We want you to put it out there for us. Now, if someone asks you to do something for them or to them or with them, and the whole world says, you shouldn't shove a camera in their face, you should leave them alone, I can't do that. Because guess what? If we leave them alone, then they're not going to get any help. Their messages are not going to get out to the world. If we're not making videos like this and talking about what's going on, nobody's going to know. It'll be dark, quiet, silent, and they'll fizzle out in social media land, and nobody will ever know. And people will wonder, what's going on with the Whittakers? Well, what do you do at that point? Do you got somebody you can call and say, how's the Whittakers doing? No. You're waiting for content. You're waiting for this content because you're waiting for one of us to update you guys on what's going on. And I've tried to do that, and you guys have kicked me down over it. You've busted me down, you've kicked me down, and you've said, leave them alone. Why are you down there? Who are you? Where did you come from? We want the family back together again, but there's things that have to happen first before that can happen. And with your all's help and with positivity, I think that can happen. I think it can happen to a degree. And that degree that I think that can happen is, I think that Timmy and Lorraine can come back home to a new home that passes all these qualifications and criteria. I think that if Betty has some help and someone steps up in the family and takes the classes that's supposed to be taken and goes through all the checks and balances, I really believe that they can come home. And then if there's a a home health care worker that can come help take care of Ray and Lorraine, and maybe even a little bit of Betty, because they're all getting older, right? None of them's getting any younger. I think that there's a possibility that we can watch on a video one day within the next 4 or 5 months, realistically, that the family's all back in one room at the same time and back together again. But ultimately, where we're at right now is, if we walk away and we turn our phones off and we stop talking about it, it's definitely never going to happen. So I hope you guys understand where I'm at, that I don't want to do that. I want to help them fight this fight. And in the meantime, we're going to make some content to keep you guys talking, to keep you guys engaged, because nobody else is doing it. There's a lot of creators out there that's cropping footage of mine and reposting it on their page, and they're obviously doing that for gain. They're obviously trying to gain followers and gain views and get paid, and they're monetized, and that's whatever, copyrighted material. I'm at that point that I want to share with you guys what I know. I want to share with you guys the good and the bad. And if we work together, we can possibly make this work. We can possibly make this happen. But the first thing we got to do is secure the money that's owed to them right now. Because there's so much money owed to them right now that they could probably almost buy this house that they need to be approved by APS for them to come home. We just got to get the family together, and we got to get the world together, and everybody has to push. We all have to push. We're not asking for donations. We're asking for your support. Your support means watch the videos. It means comment. It means give us help. Call and say, what do you need? What can we do as a community? What can we do as a viewing world? And what you can do is you can be positive and you can push. And if my content, if Patrick's content, if Eric's content, any of the YouTube channels, any of the Facebook videos, if it generates enough revenue for Betty and Larry to build a home, then guess what? The kids can come home. And that's the goal. The goal isn't for us to get rich here. If we get paid for our content and for our efforts of filming and editing and standing up here in front of this camera, awesome. I have bills to pay just like everyone else. The bad part is when someone makes content and they keep 100% of those proceeds and they're never positive and they're not a part of the solution. That's the bad part. And you guys put every creator in that same stereotypically category of you're here to make the money. And when you guys stop doing that to me and Patrick and Eric and the people that have actually been involved, maybe we can start moving forward, because that's what everybody focuses on. Everybody focuses on, you're here for the fame, it's sickening, and you're here for the money, and it's sickening. And I've told you guys 50 times, if I make the money and I can help them, I'm going to. So we'll see what happens, guys. Stay tuned. We're doing everything we can do as human beings to try and put that family back together again. And I want more than anything, I want to see the finale, and then I want to make something good out of that. You guys have a great weekend.